After building a business from scratch with my husband, watching him rise to success, he suddenly brought home a college student and demanded I give her an answer. The girl's pregnant, can't wait. We have so much money now, someone has to inherit it. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. As I desperately refused to sign the divorce papers, a line of text abruptly appeared before my eyes. Fool, the male lead is about to face catastrophic bankruptcy. If you don't sign, you'll be stuck with $100 million in debt and 30 years in jail. My hand, poised to tear the agreement, froze midair. The hovering text continued. The original wife in the book adamantly refused to divorce, thinking she could drag the scoundrel and his mistress down with her. But in the end, she dragged herself down instead. Alas, she didn't know the male lead's company was going to implode in just 1 month. By then, the male lead would secretly block off the truth, transfer assets, and flee with his true love to live happily ever after. And the original wife, because she didn't divorce, perfectly inherited the massive debt and became the male lead's scapegoat, spending 30 years stitching uniforms in prison. Poor original wife, she wouldn't even divorce in prison. By the time she got out, the male lead's grandson was in kindergarten, and she was left to die miserably in a dumpster. These revelations jolted me awake. After 32 years of life, I realized I was merely a cannon fodder wife in a feel-good novel, and the male lead in the book, who rose from poverty to become a billionaire, marrying a sweet young wife and reaching the pinnacle of life, was none other than my husband, Xavier Blackwood. Seeing me frozen, Xavier frowned and urged, "Selena, I know you've always been strong-willed and you'd never tolerate a 3-person marriage. Don't gamble your future away with spite. Just sign the papers and let's free each other." Free each other? My heart seethed with resentment as I looked at Xavier. When I toiled with him for 10 years, working day and night to build this business, drinking myself to stomach bleeding for deals, he never said he'd let me go because he feared my hardship. When my career ambitions delayed having children, enduring endless snubs and humiliations from his family, forced to undergo hundreds of IVF injections, he never said he felt for me and would let me go. Now the company's listed, the bell has rung, and he's a billionaire CEO. He casually brings a young girl here and with a breezy sentence asks me to let him go. Why should I? I was full of hate, full of injustice. But thinking of the fate described in the comments, I couldn't help but shiver. I couldn't gamble my entire future. Pushing aside my anger, I smoothed out the divorce agreement in my hand and read it carefully. Xavier, however, had little patience. He sneered, "Don't bother reading. You've been a housewife for 3 years. What could you possibly understand? After all these years, I won't mistreat you. Sign the papers and the house we live in is yours, the car you drive is yours, and the $500,000 in your account is also yours. I won't take a cent, consider it alimony. This way, after the divorce, you'll be set for life." No way. The family company is worth over $1 billion, and he's only giving the original wife $500,000? Exactly. That house was her parents' dowry, and that car is 10 years old, used by the housekeeper for groceries. The male lead is seriously being too stingy. This kind of person can be a male lead? I find him a bit disgusting. To the previous commenter, this is just a brainless male-oriented feel-good novel. Without the original wife as a stepping stone and cannon fodder, how else would they highlight the male lead's decisiveness, ruthlessness, and cunning? Ruthless men thrive. It's just a story. As long as it's enjoyable, why moralize? Right? Who wants to keep a haggard wife around after achieving success? Of course, he'd marry a young, charming wife. The male lead will even have more mistresses overseas later. If you don't like it, just scroll past. Comment section was in an uproar, and my heart grew colder, clearer. I no longer needed to verify if the comments were true or false. Xavier's calculations, laid bare before me, were enough to explain